This is one I did want to watch. This is one that I'm interested in, okay? I am interested in this, so sit back and react this one with me. We're going to investigate China's Silicon Valley, and it may not be what we expect.
To a global economic powerhouse.
You're talking about social transformation, economic transformation.
No cities in the history of human civilization as we know that was able to do this.
It all started
Hey, Black Myth Wukong, you saw that?
when I kept seeing these posts everywhere about India becoming a superpower. You know the ones
I
that
like this chick. She does a really good job on her videos. I would like, can I do a custom? 90% of that. Alright, just go normal.
everyone's saying how we are going to beat China, become the world's factory. And honestly, with all these opinions flying around, I started questioning
Smash or pass, chat.
what is actually happening in China right now. I mean, for the last 20 years, they've been making
Egotistical? That's what I am? Shit.
everything. That phone you're watching this on, Chinese. Your
Yeah.
laptop, probably Chinese. Even the new electric cars everyone's talking about, yep, those are Chinese.
No, no, the Mahindra is India, and that thing is sick.
And you know the crazy part?
Smash that shit so hard.
This was a country that was once poorer than Africa. So the question is, how did they pull this off? What is the secret sauce? You know, everyone's got opinions about China, but how many people have actually been there to see what is happening? So when we got the chance, we decided to do something about it. Our team was visiting Shenzhen, the Silicon Valley of China, for a
Okay, let's see what this is all about, huh?
project. So we took this opportunity to study and learn about what China is really like.
Mahindra is not going to let Tesla take the Indian market. Yo, Tesla might be careful because if Mahindra comes to America, I'm not going to lie. For the price point of the car, for the way it looks, oh my God.
Visited factories, spoke to so many natives, and saw the actual state of the city. Let me show you what we found, because trust me, it was nothing like what we had expected.
Demon, we are 1,000,000% watching that after this. Link that video after this video.
Now,
But first, Chapter 1, The Marvel. Jesus Christ, you're hot.
before we begin our trip through China and show you all that we discovered and learned, here's something interesting. Have you ever thought about what makes a country grow? Okay, so there's this
What makes a country grow? Well, if you want to call me a country, a hot girl.
economist, Robert Solow, who kind of got it right. He says it's three things: capital, labor, and technology. The country
I think culture. What makes a country grow? Culture, communities, and eventually capital. Yeah. Because with culture, community, and capital, you can get labor and you develop technology.
start by building stuff that's factories, machines, infrastructure. But there's the catch. There's a limit to how much you can grow just by building things. The real game changer is actually technology. So let's begin our journey through China. The first surprise actually hit our team as soon as they landed. You know how we always complain about pollution in our cities?
Liberty? Ooh. Dude, Armindra, you might be right. Liberty is definitely one of them. You make the entire thing in me grow.
So just out of
Ayo?
curiosity,
Ayo?
they did a quick AQI check there. Guess what the number was? 31. That too in an industrial hub. Not bad at all, right? But that was just
Well, that's what I'm saying. Not many countries have culture like India or China in the Middle East. Oh, that's exactly why I'm saying what makes a country grow. When I'm thinking of these countries, India, Russia, China, America, all of those places have really strong culture. Mexico, the Mexicans have a really strong culture. You know what I'm saying?
the beginning. Our first real interesting experience of
I am not ignoring you.
the Chinese tech and automation that we've been hearing about
I'm trying to get her attention. You know what I'm saying?
came from the taxi driver. You know how we're also used to Google Maps, right? He wasn't using Google Maps, he was using something called A-Maps. And I want you guys to see this. Now, this app wasn't
They all have a history and they all have pride in their history, the good and the bad. There's no country that has a purely good history, right? Like every country's done some messed up stuff.
just
But ultimately, the people there are prideful of that history and are yeah, have respect for that culture.
Showing directions, it was actually showing real-time traffic signals and speed cameras. Every traffic light, every speed trap, literally everything was on this. So when the taxi driver was asked about it, he shared that it was made by Alibaba and everyone there is using it, and apparently it's extremely accurate. And finally,
That's actually, it probably is extremely accurate because the Chinese government and like the businesses there are all intertwined. So the infrastructure is going to be intertwined with that as well. So they probably can create like a GPS system that is like up to date with what's going on in the infrastructure.
they arrived at their hotel, just a regular hotel, nothing fancy. And what do they find? Robots. No display pieces, but actual
They're literally living in the future.
working robots moving around, getting into elevators by themselves, delivering stuff to rooms. Now,
You know what's crazy is I went to a Chinese restaurant and a robot brought my food out to me.
obviously, this will get anybody
They
intrigued.
play Tokyo Drift on the way.
So they asked the receptionist about
And if you guys think I'm being racist, I'm not. It's legitimately a thing.
it, and she shared that this is literally found in almost all hotels of China. And it actually does a bunch of things. So the kitchen staff loads it with food and it automatically delivers the same to the rooms. The receptionist was like, we've had these for years and it's honestly very, very common.
What?
When you hear something crazy
You can literally have like a fully automated hotel where you don't even really need a receptionist. You can go into the hotel, click into your, your thing saying, "Hey, I'm checking in," and the room service could be like robots. So you could just like, "Hey, I want some samosas," and a robot's gonna bring you samosas, and C-3PO or R2-D2 is gonna knock on the door and say, "Hello, I got your samosa."
here, Alibaba's been running a completely automated hotel in China
See what I'm saying?
since 2018.
Since 2018.
No human staff at all.
Bro,
How wild is that? Now here
that is so wild.
was when things started getting really interesting and we also started learning more about the culture in China. So when the team tried to pay for something with cash, people literally looked at them like they were from another century. You know, just like we have UPI in India, in China as well, every single thing happens through your phone. But here
Yeah, which this is, America is fighting against the grain on this, but you can't fight against the grain on this.
was the interesting part. Most of it
Like your phone is basically like an extension of you. That's why I don't think mobile gaming is going to go anywhere, and that gaming is just going to become this weird cross progression thing to where you can play on the PC when you're home, and when you leave, you can make that same progress on your phone because everyone has a phone.
is
We
all
also have this, yeah. I mean, we do too. We have Apple Pay.
through one single app. Check this out. This is WeChat. Imagine if WhatsApp, Netflix, Uber, Paytm, and Spotify had a baby. That is WeChat for you.
That's terrifying. Elon Musk is trying to make Twitter this though.
You want to text someone? WeChat. You need to book a cab? WeChat. Watch videos? WeChat. Make payments? WeChat. It has 1.3 billion monthly active users, equating
Whoa!
to about 80% of China's population. Now, I think I've mentioned in a lot of our videos how much we love studying infra, the roads. So I was asking my team, how's the commute?
Because motherfuckers stole everything for WeChat. Do we not agree? Oh yeah. I mean, the thing, China's #1 superpower is their ability to steal intellectual property.
How's the infra there? So they made a very interesting observation on how almost every taxi in Shenzhen is electric. Not some, not most, literally 99%. So at first we assumed that maybe it's just a taxi.
So like literally 99% of the vehicles in China are electric.
But no, a large number of regular people are driving EVs too. Guess why?
Please let the Mahindra come over to America.
China has a strange lottery system for gas vehicle number plates. So many
That's what I'm saying. This chick is very easy to look at and makes great YouTube videos. So it's a win.
people who've been in the lottery pool for longer than 5 years, competing with more than 3 million fellow residents for one of these places. You see, traffic congestion and air pollution are such big headaches there that the government since 2011 has used this lottery to restrict the number of cars registered each year. But on the other hand, if you look at EVs, you can just walk in and drive out, no lottery.
We may have to look at some of these Chinese EVs. Those both look kind of cool.
No waiting. Now let me show you some interesting numbers around this. Running an electric vehicle there costs around 600 yuan. That's around 7,000 rupees per month. But if you look at a gas
So that's like 7 lakhs a month.
vehicle,
That
that's
seems like a
between
lot.
1,700 to 3,800 yuan. That's 18,000 to 41,800 rupees. So the math is pretty clear, right? Now this is also the
They literally have the Zomcar EV car. Okay, please link some of this afterward. That's lit.
reason why there's been such a big boom of EV industry in China. Now coming back to the roads. So when it came to maintaining road discipline and stopping people from disrupting the traffic systems, the government has installed AI facial recognition cameras and was
That's terrifying. That is super that is Big Brother 1984 George Orwellian type shit.
quite interesting to see because literally nobody, not even a single person the team saw, jumped a single traffic light. You know, through this trip, as we were continuously talking to our teams and kind of immersing ourselves in this high-tech environment, we began to realize how rapidly AI is growing across the world and in workplaces.
Well, yeah, dude, AI, people hate on AI and they're like, yeah, it makes mistakes. You know what makes mistakes? Humans. And they make them all the time. So yes, AI may not be perfect, but I still think in the grand scheme of things, it probably works better than humans do, which is terrifying. That's why I think that we're going to need some type of universal basic income that's omnipresent, that's global. By the way, bye y'all. Hey, later, Bobby.
Just about
Have a good night. I'm low key, guys. I'm probably going to stream in the morning too. I'll probably stream for a few more hours, and then when you guys wake up, I'll probably be streaming again.
robots or cameras, AI was literally present in hospitals, classrooms, grocery stores,
China got a citizen point system. Yeah, and that's terrifying.
everywhere. And witnessing these advancements firsthand made us
It can't reach 100% human intelligence, but 99, yes. And I think that's why 99% of jobs eventually will be canceled.
realize that embracing AI is no longer just an option, but a necessity for all. It also made me think about Moore's law. The observation that the number of transistors on a microchip doubles approximately every 2 years, effectively doubling computing power while the cost halves. So Moore's law mainly talks about semiconductors and hardware. It also symbolizes the exponential pace at which technology advances. You know, none of us know how much more technology will evolve, but this experience in China served as a wake-up call to be prepared for the future. To
Wow. Yeah, no, that's insane.
thrive in this new era, we need to adapt and explore new ways to upskill and stay ahead of
Being a surgeon, Omni, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. Knowing you, knowing other surgeons, like the owner of paintball, like the owner of my former paintball team, Justin Owens, neurosurgeon, fantastic human being. He described it like carpentry. Like you're gonna go in there and the procedures are pretty similar in structure. So long that you know what to prep for, or so long that the robot has the program for whatever surgery it needs, theoretically it could complete that surgery. And especially with AI is actually getting better at detecting cancerous tumor cells than the actual humans who are looking at x-rays are. It's kind of crazy.
the curve. And that's why we partnered with IBM to bring this to you. IBM Skills
King, we'll watch some Virat Kohli. I can assure you that.
Build is a free digital learning platform designed to empower individuals with the skills needed in today's job market. Whether you're a developer or aspiring to become one, their new course, Use Generative AI for Software Development, is a game changer. In this course, you learn how AI can help you write new code, switch code between programming languages, and fix common coding issues. You'll get hands-on experience using IBM watsonx in a simulated environment to generate code using prompts. But the best part about IBM's course is that you don't have to burn a hole in your pocket and spend hours trying to complete it. It's absolutely free, and all you need to spend is just 1 hour.
I don't believe that China, because beating the Chinese to get this seat in the military is very satisfying. These guys are stealing all tech, only running their economy based on real estate and manufacturing. These motherfuckers are lined up together to leave to America to snoop for the CCP. Don't trust this hot-looking lady, probably paid by the CCP. Okay, here. How about this? Take what she says with a grain of salt, for sure, right? But still, even a broken clock can be wrong twice a day, and like, I don't know.
Now, you know, one
Brother,
more
I'm saying MIT.
important thing we observed in China was that automation wasn't something which was restricted to normal civilian life alone. So our team has set up multiple meetings.
I was talking about my psychology job. Okay, well, I'm not gonna lie. There's already ads over here in America for like therapist AI bots of like talking to an AI bot on working through your trauma.
With different vendors for one project that we're experimenting with at EOS. So one
Bro, it's true because what she's saying is China's doing great. No, she's just saying that China is technologically advanced. I mean, come on.
of the vendors had invited the team
And I think you guys are misconstruing what's actually she is saying here. It's just she's saying how technologically advanced they are in AI and automated. That's what I'm saying by advanced, how automated they are.
to his factory and offered a full tour. So as the team ventured deeper inside the factory and reached the production floor, they were literally amazed. Inside this massive room, these giant machines
Yo, I never said it was a good thing. Can you expect emotional support from AI? No, I don't. But there's ads in America, Gemini specifically, that literally did an ad. Lo and I looked at each other when we saw it on TV. We were like, what the hell? Because this person was like, how do, like, they were just like asking like the handbook for life. It's like, you have to experience it and figure it out.
were
Nobody has the answer. We wake up every day and lay the bricks out in front of us and are trying to do our damn best.
churning our products at an unimaginable speed all in one go. And you know what? There were more than 20 machines and only one person overlooking them. Now, it wasn't that
That's
the entire
insane.
factory had a single worker, but the human-to-machine ratio was interesting. The humans that were there, they were mainly working on the assembly lines. Now, apart from this, there was one more thing that really intrigued us about the factory workers. That's the wages. A factory worker in China makes about 8,871 per month. That's about 1,03,000. You know, that's when we also realized something, that labor
13, wait, that's nothing, right? That's not a lot of money.
in China is not cheap, at least not anymore. The second vendor that we had set up a meeting with said that this has actually been a pretty common myth outside China because it used to be a thing of the past when China, especially Shenzhen, was starting to become the
That's what I was like, that's $1,200. That's what I thought. That's why I said 1,200. I was like, that's,
electronic hub of the world. In fact, the labor costs in China are now more than many Asian countries too. So the labor is not cheap anymore. Why are companies still going to China for manufacturing, and what explains their unprecedented growth in manufacturing? The secret sauce now, their comparative advantage, as economist Michael Pattis puts it. Unlike
their competitive advantage. Yeah, they just steal everything.
the usual make it cheaper game, China wins by getting massive support from its government. We're talking
Of course.
top-notch infrastructures, PD clearances, and super cheap credit that lured foreign companies to set up shop there. So between 1985 and 2005, foreign investment poured into China at nearly 3% of its GDP annually, way more than Japan ever saw during its boom. But it's not just foreign cash. The Chinese government has been throwing support at domestic companies too, setting up around 2,000 funds since 2014 to boost high-tech industries. It's
Shout out to the gaming industry right here.
honestly no
To
wonder
be honest, it's a scam. Demon, you think everything's a scam?
that China managed to overtake the US in manufacturing in just 15 to 20 years, a process that took US a century to pull off against the UK. It's
Yeah, but I think India in the next 15 to 20 years is going to be at leaps ahead of this.
absolutely wild. So we asked this person that how exactly did China reach this stage? His answer was pretty interesting. He was like, I'm not going to tell you, you have to experience it yourself. He said, go to this area called Hoshang Bay and visit the Hoshang Bay Museum if you want to learn about the history of Shenzhen.
Okay, this may have been paid by the CCP.
So Hoshang Bay, by the way,
No, this is why I'm saying. That's why I think in 15 to 20 years, India will leapfrog China. I definitely agree because China has too many ghost cities.
is the world's largest electronics market. And the museum that the team visited had the entire history of how it and Shenzhen came to be what it is today. The experience inside the museum was mad, by the way. Check out some of the visuals. It had a whole map of Shenzhen with LED lights and some of the most cutting-edge technologies from the past, and also these cute miniature AI robots that were a representation of the future. But the
Oh my God.
Most fascinating thing was Shenzhen's story. Let me share. You know, Shenzhen was actually a fishing village back until 1979 with a population of just 30,000 people. But in 1980, it all changed when the Chinese government, under the leadership of Deng Xiaoping, designated Shenzhen as the country's first special economic zone. This was actually a bold experiment, a testing ground for economic reforms and opening up to the global market. This SEZ status meant that Shenzhen became a magnet for foreign investment, offering tax incentives and a more relaxed regulatory environment. Entrepreneurs and workers from all over China flocked to the city, bringing with them ambition and a willingness to innovate. The population exploded, and with that came rapid urban development. By the 1990s, Shenzhen had established itself as a manufacturing hub, producing goods at an unprecedented scale. But you know, rather than resting on its laurels, the city continued to evolve. The local government also invested heavily in infrastructure, education, technology, laying the groundwork for a shift from manufacturing to innovation. Fast forward to today, and Shenzhen is home to some of the world's leading tech giants like Huawei, Tencent, and DJI. After the museum and
Huawei with phones, Tencent with gaming, and DJI being in drones. Those three things, China having their greasy little hands in, is very, very scary. This is a propaganda video made by the CCP as India and China is mending in their relationship. This video dropped propaganda. Are you telling me it is fake news? Are you telling me the hot girl is just delivering fake news? I don't like this.
learning all about Shenzhen's
Don't tell me she is delivering fake news.
history, the team spent a lot of time speaking to the locals and learned so much about the culture, the cost of living, how much they spend. Also, what do they think of India?
Number one.
Number one.
Now, here's where I also want to bust some myths about China and more importantly about its people. But
Okay, this may be paid by the CCP. I mean, this may be fake news.
before that, I want to show you all the data we collected and the quick rundown of the cost of living in a city like Shenzhen. We made a whole chart of all the basic expenses that you can look at. I'm also going to put it in the link. Now, starting with rent, if you're in Shenzhen, renting a one-bedroom apartment outside the city center, which could, by the way, look like this, will cost you around 3,500 to 5,000 won, which is roughly 40,000 to 57,500 rupees. Now, in the city center,
So 40 lakh or 57 lakh?
this
Damn.
jumps to 7,000 yuan to 10,000 yuan, or roughly 80,000 to around 1,15,000 rupees. Then there's basic necessities like electricity and water, which is around 300 to 600 yuan. But when it comes to transportation, Shenzhen's public transport is incredibly affordable and efficient.
Lakh, I thought lakh was oh no, lakh is like 100,000, correct?
A monthly pass is around 200 to 400 yuan. An occasional meal outside costs between 500 to 1,000 yuan. Now, dining out in nice restaurants in Shenzhen is a bit on the pricier side, but the portions and variety were definitely worth it, is what my team said. And finally, for miscellaneous expenses like entertainment and shopping, a budget of 1,000 to 2,000 yuan in Shenzhen gives you access to some of the best technology, entertainment, and recreational activities. For a family of 4, though, it's approximately 15,000 yuan, which is around 1.77 lakhs. Now,
Damn, that seems kind of expensive to live, no? Like, that's a high cost of living.
coming to the myths. You know, sitting here in India, we all had these thoughts that the Chinese might be a bit unfriendly, especially since China's pretty much cut from the entire world. But going around the city, meeting all these vendors, going to factories, talking to so many strangers, and visiting the place in real life has made us realize how hospitable Chinese people are. Also, one more thing. Every time you ask them about India, they're all obsessed with Amir Khan, and almost every person the team met had watched Dangal and Three Idiots, and
That's funny.
they really, really loved it. So at lunch with this potential vendor, he mentioned that the
Once more, the people are not the problem, right? The Chinese people are probably really good people. Fun, loving, caring people. That can be said of all of the major countries in the world. So when you get into the government, the politicians, the bureaucrats, the deep state, they're a bunch of crooks.
business ecosystem, the entrepreneurs especially, overall seemed quite happy with the government and credited them for creating an environment for businesses to grow. So one of the other locals that the team had met there also gave an example of this local company called Zidu, which makes these tiny electric cars, which the government had helped. He shared how in 2019, this company had literally gone bankrupt, but the government pumped money into it and last year brought it back to support the EV industry and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. The government just bailing out large corporations. I don't know how I feel about that. We do that here in America, and it just feels like if it's going to be a free market, you got to let those companies die out and let new ones rise up.
He also shared how the government is very meticulous
No
about
country citizen we could say is bad. That's what I'm saying. Guess what? They're people. They're humans. And no different than you and I, right? At the end of the day, they're just humans that are from a different place. It's the people that are governing them who are trying to control them that are the ones that I said are a bunch of crooks.
making their citizens' lives better. Now, this was also something the team observed and shared, that the roads are super clean and almost every second road had this massive machine sprinkling water and cleaning the roads. By the way, Shenzhen also has a lot of parks. So locals shared that Shenzhen is actually called the Sponge City in China, and the government has deliberately created a lot of parks for a very particular reason. So Sponge City, we learned, is a whole urban concept that the Chinese government has brought that's designed to act like a sponge, literally soaking up rainwater instead of letting it run off and cause floods.
What? If that plays out in theory, like how it should, like in reality, that's fascinating.
So in Shenzhen, they have done this by creating pavements, tons of green spaces and parks, and design them in such a manner that they absorb water and don't let it spread to the city and cause any problems. Now, one more interesting thing that our team observed during this stay was that they didn't see a single homeless person in Shenzhen. Now,
Yes, they probably get shot.
that made them very curious, and then they found out that there's more to the story. So in China, there's this thing called hukou. Think of it like an
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
internal passport. Without this urban hukou, migrants can't access the same services as city residents. And what it has done is it's created this invisible divide in their society. So while yes, China is a fascinating country, but like every single country, it also has got some problems. And
Yeah.
while the average income of even blue-collar workers and quality of life in China seems elevated, like India, we found that China is also a very, very complex country, and to understand it, you need to actually visit it and
Yeah.
spend a lot of time there.
That seems very fair. That seems super fair. The whole I love the Eastern culture, and primarily it was Japan, but now it has grown so much. And learning about China, learning about India, and these large populated areas with a lot of people, you're gonna have. So I'll finish this
honestly,
thought
this-
at the end of the video.
Trip to China actually left us with a lot of learnings, and we feel like there's so much that we can also learn from them and take and apply to India as
You broke, get killed kind of regime. I think that's how it is in China. If you're so broke that you're a detriment to society,
well. For example, the power of good policies cannot
you will not dishonor your ancestors.
be overstated. China's deliberate investment in infrastructure, education, and technology has created a fertile ground for innovation. Secondly, them investing in human capital through upskilling has really paid off. Their emphasis on skill development and education has led to some very highly competent workforce that's ready to adapt and excel. And I feel like by focusing on upskilling here and creating a denser pool of skilled people, we can also harness our vast human resources to drive economic growth. This essentially means enhancing vocational training, promoting STEM education, and encouraging continuous learning to prepare our workforce for the demands of a rapidly evolving global economy. Now, thirdly, embracing technology and digital integration can honestly revolutionize daily life and industries alike.
You know, this kind of feels paid, David. I think I'm with you now. At first I wasn't. At first I thought you were crazy, but then I thought, shit, maybe he's right.
While India too has made significant strides with initiatives like Digital India and UPI, I feel like there's a lot of immense potential to further integrate technology to improve efficiency, accessibility, and innovation across all the sectors. But perhaps the most significant takeaway is the importance of bold ambition coupled with actionable strategies. And honestly, here's what makes me really optimistic about India. Our talent potential is incredible. I mean, we've all seen how Indians can adapt and excel anywhere in the world. Now imagine
like
if
some
you could
Dr.
create those
Disrespect
same
song.
opportunities right here in our own country. So the question isn't whether India can become the next China. The question is, can we learn from their journey while creating our own path?
That's definitely going to be the way. You learn from them and stay as original as you are. And what I wanted to finish up on that thought was, I believe in like the 80-20 rule, like 80% and 20%. 80% is normal, 20% is going to be the extremes. And you divide the 20% into 10. So you have 10 extremely high excelling people and really not so much so, right? So 80% of the people are kind of in the middle, who are just the average middle class people, me and you, right? Then you have the 10%, the omnis of the world, who are psychologists, doctors, surgeons, who are the ones who are above and shoulders, who are the top 10%. And then you have the bottom 10%, who are just weighing society down, kind of being a detriment. And they may try their best, there's still going to be a hindrance, right? God love them. But if you have a country of 1 billion people and you take 10% of 1 billion, that's a lot of people who are at the bottom 10%. Now, I don't think you're the bottom 10%, but do you guys know what I'm saying? Is that a fair assessment? Because I feel like that's just like whatever country you go to, 80% of the people are kind of be in the same. 10% will excel, 10% will suck. Wouldn't not allow omnis of the world? Well, I was just saying, he's like a surgeon, he's a psychologist. It's like, damn. Elrod Timcock, I am the bottom 1%. We're all the bottom 1%. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, then please like the video, subscribe, and if you really like it, then share it with some of your friends. My goal here is to spread a positive message while sprinkling my 2 cents on big topics like American, Indian, and world geopolitics. And even small stuff like Twitch drama and online debacles. And if you want to see it live, come join me over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/ActuallyElrod. That's where I'm going to do all my reactions. And after the reactions, that's where we get down a game. And if you're like, hey, I have a video that I want this dude to sprinkle his 2 cents on, then come over on my Discord and let me know and join the community there. And while we're at it, I have to say thank you to everybody who has made that Discord just so poppin'. I never thought I'd have a Discord that's so flowing. It's really cool to see. Shout out to you, Bobby, Omni, Demon, all of you who have been in there who are just super active. Logie, you're the man. Logie is the one who's like modding and helping run the server, so thank you, Logie. Lastly, I challenge you. I have a challenge for you. Make somebody laugh today. We all know there's enough hate and vitriol in the world. If energy is contagious like the flu, then let's spread and get everyone contagious with our positive energy, right? Not negative energy, because there's so much of that. And if we could just be a small little change in someone's day, then you never know. Maybe that's the thing that starts shifting this world to a happier, healthier, just better place. And with all of that said and done, thank you guys, and I'll see you on the next one.